Hello, welcome back. I'm Stephen Bell. Hopefully, you checked out last week's episode. We dived into a lot about the creation, about God, talking about the difference between evolution and creation, and just encouraging people if you are a Christian, you should have a hard time believing evolution. There's a lot of inconsistent stuff that would not be supported by the scriptures and by the Bible. So hopefully you check out that episode. Hopefully you like it. Please like and subscribe for more. And today we're going to go over something that is troubling a lot of people, really concerning me. I know a lot of people that you can say that you don't want to believe in Jesus. You don't want to believe in the deity. You don't think Jesus is God. You don't think Jesus died on the cross for your sins. I'm be praying for you, so hopefully you do believe Jesus died on the cross for your sins and that he came on this earth to save you. But the thing I'm really struggling and puzzling with today is a lot of people are saying that Jesus wasn't a real person and Jesus didn't exist. And I'm here to correct that. You can say you don't believe in Jesus, but Jesus was a real person. Jesus did exist. And there's a lot of misinformation that's spreading around the internet of people saying that Jesus never existed. And that's not true. We have so much evidence that Jesus existed, that overwhelming evidence. Now, again, you could believe that Jesus did not die on the cross and came back from the dead. There's such overwhelming evidence that Jesus was a real person. He lived on this earth and he died on the cross. I believe he came back from the dead. It takes a lot of faith, but I believe it, and he saved me, and hopefully he'll save you too. A verse I want to read to you is John chapter 1, verse 14. It says, "And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory. The glory is of the only begotten, full of the Father, full of grace and truth." Now, that's the Apostle John. He wrote that. Now, John was a real person. He witnessed and saw Jesus. Now, that's a biblical support of Jesus was a real person. You can see from the eyewitnesses, whether it's Peter, John, Matthew, and then even people that didn't know Jesus or never met him, but took the accounts from eyewitnesses. Like Luke, for example, was another one who was a doctor. He took the account. The Apostle Paul was another one who took the account from others that Jesus was a real person. Now, I want to kind of look at historical manuscripts. Now, historical manuscripts, for a lot of people that we have confirmed that there were real people, that they really existed. There are not that many manuscripts for some of the people that we are well respected, infamously or famously. For example, there are only 10 manuscripts for Genghis Khan that he existed. It's well documented that understood that Genghis Khan was a real person. There's only 250 for Julius Caesar. That's a lot. And there's only 12 for Alexander the Great. That was mind-blowing for me because I thought there would be a lot more manuscripts proving that Alexander the Great was a real person. But, there's statues, there's eyewitness accounts. I don't doubt that Alexander the Great was not a real person. Neither was Julius Caesar. I love reading about Greek and Roman history, and just reading. I studied Greek, so I've read a lot of Greek mythology, and I've read even Greek texts that speak of Alexander the Great. I never doubted he was a real person. And for Jesus, get this, there's over 250,000 manuscripts. 250,000. So if we can believe that Genghis Khan was a real person with 10, Alexander the Great was real with 12, we can believe that Jesus was a real person with 250,000. And then, for example, one that is really, I will just name one. There's a lot more out there. But Josephus is one that comes to mind. Josephus was a Jewish commander who started a revolt against the Romans in Galilee. He surrendered and became a Roman citizen. Then he became a historian, translator, and advisor to the Flavian emperors around the 1st century. And he was a Judaist. He practiced Judaism. He was more of the Pharisee sect, but although a lot of his teachings are supported by the Sadducees as well, so he liked ideas from both. If you understand scriptures, Jesus had a lot of pushback from the Pharisees and Sadducees. Ultimately, it was the Sanhedrin, the makeup of the Pharisees and Sadducees, who crucified Jesus. So this man, Josephus, who's a well-known historian, has written many books about all kinds of historical facts. If anyone wanted to distort the truth, or if anyone wanted to distort reality, this would be the perfect person, because he was a Jew practicing Judaism, then became a Roman citizen. Romans weren't painted in the positive light of crucifying Jesus, nor was the Jews that did as well. And what he did, he didn't distort the truth. He said Jesus was a real person that was crucified by Pontius Pilate and was crucified. So again, we have biblical support, we have manuscripts, but Josephus was a big one, because Josephus was a historian. He could have lied, he could have mistorted and said Jesus was not a real person. It would have done him justice to actually lie, and he didn't. He said Jesus was a real person. There's many more out there that I can go through, but I just want to just do this segment that for people that are saying that Jesus wasn't a real person, that's a lie. Again, you can believe that he did not die on the cross for your sins, but he was a real person. He was a teacher, and he was a preacher, and he died on the cross. And you can ultimately believe that he didn't come back from the dead. I do, and I just want to encourage you that there's other things that you can refute, but that's not one of them. Jesus existed. And I pray that you search the truth and ultimately search the Bible and find out the same Jesus that was a real person also said that he was the way, the truth, and the life. God bless you. Have a great day.